LinkedIn, and YouTube. All right, all right. It looks like we are officially live, and I am Tawana Taylor here with Bootstrap Dreams. The revolutionary COO is what I like to go by. Joining with me is relationship coach Avarel Smith. Avarel, how are you today?
I am fine to honor and yourself.
I am well, doing good and getting better.
Good. Good to hear
Yes.
that.
I'm so glad to be on this talk with you today. It's been a while, probably like over a year since we've done a live together. And
Yeah.
I remember how much fun and excitement and good gems that were gleaned during that conversation. So I'm fully anticipating likeness, if not better, today. Because I just love you. Like, I love who you are. I love what you stand for. I love your lived experience that you share from. I appreciate that you took your lived experience to another level and said, you know what? There's more that I can do. There's impact that I can bring from this, and became certified. So it's not just, like theory or concepts.
Right.
These are practices, and then these are, trained things that you've been taught to lean into, and through working with other women, particularly in business and life, or women professionals rather, helping them really move out of their own way, because we can do that pretty good. we can we
Very
can get in
well.
our way pretty good, and so you help us move out of our own way and apply ourselves to recognize what we deserve in life, and so that we can apply that same confidence in business. So I am not going to even try to give your introduction. I just get that's my interpretation, y'all. Okay, let's put that disclaimer out. Avarel is going to give her own introduction of who she is. Please share with us, and while you do that, I'm going to check and make sure that our live streams are doing just fine on the other platforms, and we're going to keep this conversation going.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am Avarel M. Smith, a certified dating and relationship coach, a former matchmaker, and now the founder and CEO of Seeking Synergy. And I
Mhm.
help single women break their toxic dating cycles, recognize their true worth so they can create the love life that they desire and most certainly deserve. It is a pleasure to be here with you, Tawana.
Yes, it is. It truly is a pleasure. The sentiment is mutual. So, I don't like to have too many scripts when it comes to these talks, right?
Right.
Because I really want us to lean into how the spirit moves, if you will.
Yes. Yes.
And wherever, our viewers watching, if they have comments or specific questions, want to make sure to take heed and pay attention and lean into them. But where did all this begin for you when you think about you know success in relationships, success in life, success in business, and how, in my mind, they're not all that isolated. Like, we've been
Right.
conditioned for years. Probably now we're moving into more of a, like, gel and create a harmony and a blend of these things. But for
Yeah.
a long time, pre-pandemic particularly, we were conditioned to leave these things in these places.
Right.
And then we had to do this,
Correct.
whether
Correct.
we
You have
whether
to
we wanted to or
literally,
not.
you have to recognize that it needed to be all pulled together because they do align in so many ways.
Yeah. So tell
Mhm.
us, where did this begin for you, this journey?
Well, actually, it began unfortunately with a divorce. But you know what? I always tell women and the people that I talk to are my clients that I did not let that divorce make break me. I let it make me who I am today. And that is
Mm.
actually what thrusted me into wanting to be a relationship coach, wanting to help other women. If I could just help one woman not go through the headaches, the heartaches, the heartbreak,
Yes.
I would have done my part. And
It
so,
matters.
it truly is not what we go through in life, but how we deal with it. And we
Right.
don't have that God-given inner strength, Tawana. And I always tell people I really felt that I needed to dig deep, find it, and harness it. So I did. I did.
Yes.
I did. I did.
Yes.
And I went to New York City to the Matchmaking Institute, was there for a couple of days, decided I was going to, after I met with a lot of other relationship experts, I
Hmm.
decided I am going to do the relationship coaching certification program. Came back
Yeah.
home, did that for a couple months, and it was like the moon and the stars were aligned. Because,
Yes.
honestly, Tuana, relationships are such an integral part of our lives. And when you're
Yes.
in a healthy one, all your other relationships really and truly thrive, whether it's with your parents, your
Mm-hmm.
children, family and friends, coworkers, even strangers.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Agreed.
think about think about if you're having a bad day at home with your other half, and you, first of all, your kids are probably going to feel the effects of it. You leave to go to work, your coworkers are going to probably get snapped at.
Yep.
You go to the grocery store, a stranger probably is going to get the worst tail end of whatever you're going through. And
Yes.
I
If
don't
we're
think,
if we're not careful, right?
right. And so I don't think people realize just how integral relationships are part of our lives. And so it's so important to be in a healthy one. And so that is what I help women achieve: how to create the love life that they desire and deserve. And you know what? It spills over into their career and into their lives as a whole.
So I love that you started with the dip, right? A lot of times people only see where they encountered you. And it's
Right.
not their fault. That's
Right.
just where they encountered you, right? And they see you now and you're smiling and you're thriving and you have a vibrant life and a vibrant career and a vibrant relationship. And they may be wondering, well, of course she's a relationship coach because she's got it all together, right? I
Right.
love that you started with the dip. You let people know, hey, 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 actually,
Yes.
this came through a situation that maybe I didn't perceive what happened to me. I didn't intend to happen in my life. However, like you said, it's not what happened to me, it's how I responded to it.
Absolutely.
Right? And you
Absolutely.
responded to it. You didn't react to it. And I'm not saying that you didn't have feelings, right?
Correct.
I'm not saying that. Don't get me wrong, people. Avarel is human.
That I am.
I am human. We have feelings. I don't care how polished we might look.
Right.
We have our
Right.
thoughts and our feelings. Yet you responded to it in such a way that it took you to toward the
Yeah.
place, the life, the career, the relationships, the family dynamics that you
Correct.
aspired to have.
Correct.
Anyway, whether it was in that relationship or otherwise, those were the foundational things that you wanted for yourself.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
let's talk about that journey. How did you recognize what you want for yourself in order to determine how do I establish this lived experience?
Well, you know what? Honestly, Tawana, it was just one of those times in my life where I realized, you know what? I am not going to give myself any other options. I am not going
Mm,
to go down a rabbit hole of being depressed and everything else. Like, my main focus was trying to stay strong in some form or fashion for my son. He was still in,
mm,
I think he was in high school then, but just trying to stay the course of, well, things still have to continue, right?
that's right.
Bills have to be paid at home. I still have to work. I still have to keep it together at some level. And I
Yes.
really didn't give myself another option. I honestly didn't. Truly, truly, I actually started out being a co-owner in a matchmaking company. But that,
Wow.
having business partners doesn't always work out because
Mhm.
everyone has their own personalities, and
Yes.
some people are just maybe not so cut out for business. But
Yes.
that did not work out, and then I just decided to branch off on my own, and I really became passionate about wanting to do the relationship coaching side of it more so than
Mhm.
making.
Oh,
Because
I
there's
love
so many things that we wish that we were taught before we started dating, to be
sure, right?
doing, right? And no one teaches us about what a healthy relationship truly looks like.
Yeah.
You
I
know, what,
know,
what I find is that people normalize toxicity in relationships, and then it becomes a cycle.
right? Because of the and it's meant well. It's
Right.
meant well when people say, keep your business to
Yeah.
yourself, or don't talk about certain things with certain people, or everything isn't for the book or the gram, or
Right.
all those things. And it is meant well. And some of that, listen, we do have to have discernment and wisdom. Some stuff is not for,
Absolutely.
right? At the same time, as people, humans, we lack we lack wisdom, we lack discernment, we lack awareness that we're not the only ones,
Correct.
or we lack, that hey, that's the season that you're in, right? Like with whether it's youth, whether it's parenthood, whether it's right marriage or relationship or dating or career, like there are just certain funks that you go through.
We all do. We all
Right?
do.
There are just certain nuances because you're getting in the groove and you're getting to know whether it be you or one another, or you're evolving because you've gotten over certain humps, and
Yes.
you tend to think that something's wrong with you or something's wrong with them, or that something is not right because things don't feel as easy or as effortless as they did in the beginning. And
Yes.
before you know it, now you're looking elsewhere for something that's already available to you.
Correct. You're so right about that.
That might be podcast part 2.
Yes.
Right? You're looking elsewhere for something that's already available to you, whether it's a person, whether it's an object, whether it's an experience. It's like you're seeking that next high when all you need to do is maintain and appreciate, cultivate the
Yes.
garden that you're already walking in.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm so glad you took that conversation there because, when you think about, just the journey of creating success in your relationship, in your career, in your life, I like to tell people that there are 4 keys that you need, 4 keys, and they may seem so
Oh,
simple, but there are 4 powerful keys. They're mindset, clarity, connection, communication, and we can
mm,
dive into each of those, but as it relates to mindset, Tawana, I love to tell people, right, and remind them our minds are our most powerful tool
most powerful.
because what you think, you feel, you believe, you speak those words, your actions follow, right? And
Yes.
so whether those actions or whether the end result from those actions are good or bad, it
Mhm.
depends on your actions. The end
Yes, it does.
result depends on your actions.
Yes, it
You've got to
does.
have the right mindset.
Mm.
And what does
So
that look like? Let's talk about what that
I was
looks
just
like.
about to say, so tell us, Avarel, what does it
What
look
does
like
having the right
to
mindset
have the
looks
right
like? You
mindset?
know what? It starts with practicing self-love. You have to
Mm,
love who you are. You can't expect someone else to love you if you do not love who you are. Give
mhm,
yourself grace. And don't be
mhm,
so hard on yourself. Be kind to yourself. Recognize your true worth. Know
mhm,
that you are valuable. And don't put yourself on the discount shelf. you know Build your self-confidence and your self-esteem. Always build your self-confidence and self-esteem. If it
mhm,
means giving yourself positive affirmations daily, putting them probably on a post-it in an area of your home where you can see them and say them out loud.
mhm,
It also means dispelling the myths you have about relationships. Those maybe that you saw your parents have, or the way your parents' relationship were, or your family members, the dynamics of those, dispelling those myths, and also
mhm.
dismissing any self-sabotaging beliefs you have about yourself. That
Say
you
that one again.
this, you can't do this, you don't deserve this, who's gonna love me? All the self-sabotaging beliefs, all of that falls under having the right mindset, and it all starts with your mindset. It really does.
Yes, it really does. Wow.
It really does.
So mindset then feeds into the clarity.
It
Is
does.
that correct?
It does. It absolutely does. Because when you have the right mindset and you've practiced self-love and you know your self-worth, you have the clarity to know exactly who and what you want.
Mm,
Right? You know
mhm,
exactly who and what you want. You know what you want your relationship to look like. You have
mhm,
relationship goals. Do you want a traditional relationship? Do you want a modern one? You
mhm,
recognize any dating patterns that you have and any
mhm.
ones that you need to change. Right?
Yes.
You let go of your emotional baggage, whether it's trust issues from a previous relationship. You're dragging it around. You have to let that go, and
Mhm.
you create healthy boundaries, right? You let your
Yes.
partner know if alone time is important to you. You establish those boundaries, whatever that looks like, and you commit to making good compromises. Unfortunately, people think compromises are a bad word or a negative word. It truly is not. When you're ready for a relationship, you know that compromises are
Inevitable. It's inevitable is what it is.
It is because there's another person in the mix.
Yeah.
Relationships are a two-way street.
Yeah. But you know
And
what
you
I find? Oh, I
correct.
want finish your thought. You finish your thought and I'll try to hold on to mine.
No, I was just gonna say because relationships are a two-way street, it takes two to tangle, and sometimes
That's
you may not
right.
always agree. So you have to meet in the middle, and that is what
Mhm.
compromising is all about.
And what I found, like you said, a lot of times, society is so twisted because it teaches you being alone is whack,
Right.
right? So to get with somebody, anybody, just be with somebody, and then you get with somebody, and it's like, but put yourself first,
Right.
right? And then you put yourself first, but you completely do it in an arrogant way, not a
Right.
self-caring way, but in an arrogant way. And it's like this self-sabotaging cycle
Yes.
that happens. And what I have found through my experiences with relationships, whether they were familial, whether they were marriage, now, my focus is my priority relationship is mother daughter, and then also pursuing companionship. Again, it's like compromise doesn't have to be negative.
Absolutely.
And when you do it because you're willful, not because you feel like you're being forced or
Right.
coerced into something that is not aligned with you or is not meaningful to you. You're looking for the blend to make this exchange or this encounter mutually beneficial. And isn't that what we do in business? Like
That's
when we go
exactly
to
what we
work,
do.
whatever work is, when
Yes.
we accept that opportunity, whether it's traditionally employed or entrepreneurially or whatever the case, when we go into that, we know there's an exchange. You're
Yes.
doing this for this. But
Correct.
for some reason, when it comes to relationships and family and friends, we decide, no, that's not applicable then. I can
Oh
just
my
kind of
goodness.
do what I want.
Isn't that true? It's crazy, unbelievable, but true. Why do we do that?
Why do we do that? We're so fickle as humans. I'm gonna keep
We
saying,
really
I say that all the time.
we really are. We
But we're
truly
just
are.
fickle. We
We
are fickle
truly are.
beings.
We truly are. And you know what? As you were talking and you touched on, you know, um, in our careers or in our jobs, what I find, Tawana, is people are likely to put a whole lot more effort into their jobs because, oh, I need to get paid and I want to do
Mm,
a good job and I want to make a good impression on my employer. And
mm,
sometimes they don't prioritize their relationships the same way.
mm.
Like when you're in a relationship, it's not he's giving 50%, you're giving 50%. You both need to give 100%. You need to go all in. And that's why you need to be in the right relationship with the right man
Oh,
and know exactly what that looks like, who he
yeah.
is, what you want him to have, the qualities, the characteristics, the know what your deal breakers are, your
Yeah.
non-negotiables. That's why it's so important to know all of those things because when you're in the right relationship with the right man, you absolutely should be going all in.
All in, right? And I think one of the greatest things that stuck to me out of a what many would say failed relationship or failed experience, right? Was when I had the absolute understanding that equal and equitable are not synonymous,
Absolutely right.
right? It
Right.
may not be 50-50 at work, at home, with parenting, caring for a child with special abilities, or that's an adult, or us aging parents, or
Right.
you and a spouse coming up with whatever your roles are in the
Yes.
household. And I'm not talking about gender roles, because if dishes need to be washed, somebody need to wash them. Like
Absolutely.
I don't care what your gender
Absolutely.
is, food
Teamwork
needs to
is
be
the dream.
prepared, right?
Teamwork
Like,
is the dream work, right?
right, a
Team-
report needs to be done. A
yeah.
report, last time I saw a report, it didn't say male or female. It was a report. It was data, right? So when we really kind of look at these things and we decide, well, what's equitable right now in this
Right.
season? What's equitable in this experience? What we're coming up against or what we're choosing to go after? What's going to be equitable so that we can make it?
Yeah.
So that we can endure and get to that goal, get to the other side of that hill,
Yeah.
get around that valley. Like
Yeah.
equal and equitable are not synonymous. And I know for me, I said, should I get the opportunity to, enter into relationships, and I say ships, but you know what I mean, like
Yes.
enter into the relationship of my heart again, there are certain things it's just not gonna matter.
Right.
It's just not going to matter. You pick and choose your battles, but there are just some things that aren't worth wasting the time. So we talked about the mindset and clarity and that first key. What
Yes.
is that next key to creating success in your relationship, your career, in your life?
It is connection. Connect.
Connection.
And you know why connection is important to Wanna? Because you have to connect to yourself first before you can connect to
Mm.
another person,
Uh-huh.
right? You have to
Uh,
truly know who you are as a, I coach women, so I like to speak specifically to women, but just
yes.
in
And
general.
we're not going to be apologetic about that. We're not.
Correct.
We're
Correct.
not. We know who we are,
Right.
so we know who we are not, and we know
Yes.
who this this is for you,
Right.
ladies. Then you can learn something as
Absolutely.
you're listening. You can learn how to understand, right? The
Yes.
woman you're navigating better. So
Yes.
carry on, Avril.
Yes, but we honestly do have to connect to ourselves first.
Mhm.
Truly know who we are as a woman,
Yes.
as a human being, as someone who wants to be in a relationship. Sit with your thoughts.
Mm.
Sit with your thoughts. Think about what you want to
Yes.
achieve in life, what you want to achieve in your relationship, what you want to
Mhm.
achieve in your career. And and part of that connection also includes attracting the right man and knowing what that looks like.
Knowing what that looks
Who
like.
are you attracting and why are you attracting that person?
Why? Right?
Why are you attracting that person, right? It also entails discovering your key life values. The reason
Mm.
that is important is because when you get into a relationship with someone, you want him to also have similar key life values. That is
Mhm.
what is going to hold your relationship together when the storms come.
That's
Because
right.
it's not a question of if the storms will come, it's when.
It's
So
when.
you think about those key life values, whether it's about family, health and fitness, finances. You need to have someone with similar key life values because then you all will be not just on the same page, you may actually be on the same line, but let's get you in the same book, in the same chapter.
Had that part, right? In the same journal entry, even. I
Yes,
mean,
you know,
are we on
and
the same currency at all?
at all, at all,
Now,
at all.
Everell, can you please speak to, because I can hear there's a little voice back here, right? That's for the woman that's saying, well, I'm already in the relationship or I'm already in the marriage and I didn't know who I was then. So how can I do this now? I'm already in it. I hear you saying before you connect with the person, but if I'm already in it, what now?
Well, you know what? It's never too late to do anything. It's never too late to make changes. It's never too late to
Mhm.
recognize that changes are necessary. And
Yeah.
that's why developing the right mindset is so important. Now, whether that means you get a mentor, you get a therapist,
Mm.
you read self-help books, whatever it takes to change your mindset. What I find to one, I sometimes people feel that because of their life experiences and what they've endured, that is all they know. They have like this one shot
Mm.
mindset. That is so not true. And that's
So
part
not
of the
true.
self-sabotaging beliefs that we have.
Yes.
You can
Yes.
always change your mind because what I know in life is we always have choices. There's never one choice ever in any situation, in any scenario.
Right?
That's why I tell people I chose to let my divorce make me who I am today rather than break me. I made that choice.
Mm-hmm.
I made
Mm-hmm.
that choice.
Right? Or
You
keep you broken, right? Like I
know?
like to say, because I am sorry, end of the day, brain fog, forgive me. I am very transparent about how when I was going through my marriage and came across uncovered some of the things that either I truly did not know um was happening or unfolding or that I chose to turn a blind eye to and thought I could endure, right?
Yes.
When I say going through my divorce or getting to the point to where it was like this isn't going to last and I'm going to divorce, it crushed me, right?
Yes. I know.
Because it was like it was a death. It was truly a homicide
Right.
of a spirit, of dreams, of home, of
Yes.
my view of what family looks like, of like a lot of different things. But like you said, I chose to not allow it to keep me
Right.
broken. Do I
Right.
reference it a lot? I do because it was the catalyst to who people encounter now. And people go, oh my gosh, you have so much joy, or you just have a peaceful countenance, or oh my gosh, you seem so focused. And I'm like, because I
Yeah.
was broken.
Uh,
when
yeah.
you break, a lot of people say I bend, I don't break. That's fine. Be a palm tree. I'm glad. I don't think I was a palm tree in that season of life. And I broke. I didn't snap,
Right.
but I
It's a
did,
difference.
right? It's a difference. I did break. And because I broke, I was able to heal
Yes.
better, right? I was able to get that thing repositioned. I was able to reorganize my mind, my view of worth, what
Right.
I wanted to demonstrate to my daughter, what I
Absolutely.
also wanted to echo from my mother, right? Like, I mean, these are generational things sometimes that carry down into how we move and how we navigate and even entertain not only ourselves, but other people
Yes.
professionally or personally. And so, like I said, I appreciate you starting off the top of the, this talk, acknowledging your dip and how what was maybe undesired, was not planned, was not intended. You made a decision, you responded and decided, I can now take this adversity and
Yeah.
turn it into opportunity. And so we've talked about, and I'm going to put on the screen in case you're just coming in. We talked about clarity already as one key. We're talking about connection in this moment. How do we get into the third key of keys to creating success in your relationship, career, and life?
So the first one was mindset. The second one is clarity, and
Mhm.
then the third one is connection.
Ah, forgive me. I'm
Yes.
gonna get
And
that updated.
you know why? Another reason, I'll wrap up with connection. Another reason that's so important is because we really have to know who we are. You
Mhm.
know, we're what I do know is that we're God's children, right?
Yes.
And
Right.
because God is love, we were created in the image of God.
Mhm.
We
We.
are loved. We deserve to be loved, right?
Mhm.
And so we have to really know who we are and embrace that, and embrace the value, embrace the self-worth, embrace that we are put on this earth to live an abundance life,
Mhm.
an abundant life, not just financially,
That's right.
not just financially, but an abundant life in general. That's what God
Mhm.
wants for us.
Mhm.
That's why God wants for us. And so it's so important to be in tune with who you are, what it is that you want, what it is that you need. Have goals and aspirations, strive for them and achieve them. Write them
Mhm.
down in a journal if you need
Write
to.
it down.
And as soon as you achieve them, check them off. You'll be surprised how much that will boost your self confidence.
So much, right? I think it was my coach Melissa B. White. She tells me all the time, write it. When you write it, it exists.
Yeah,
Right?
it
She's
becomes
like, when you
concrete.
write it, it exists. And then
Right.
TD Jakes the other day, I heard him say, write it, read it, run it.
Yes.
Write
Yes.
it, read it, run it. And I was like, okay.
Yes. Yes. When you
Right?
write it down, it becomes concrete. You have
Mhm.
something as a reference, right?
Yes.
And it does build your self confidence when you start seeing your achievements, because sometimes we don't recognize our achievements. We
Yes.
don't. And then so
Yes.
that leads to the fourth key, which is so vitally important, just as the others. It is communication.
Communication.
And communication spans the gamut in our lives, whether it's in relationships, in our careers, in our lives in general. You know, the first step that I like to touch on when it comes to communication, Tawana, is being a good listener.
Mm-hmm.
Being a good listener, that is why God gave us two ears and just one mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So we can listen more and talk less. I find that when we are more inclined to listen to the person that we're talking to, whether it's our other half, whether it's a family member, friend, or children, when we're able to listen more instead of being so quick to want to respond, right? We start
Mm-hmm.
formulating thoughts in our mind of what we're going to say and respond to that person, as opposed to just actively listening. And when
Mm-hmm.
you listen, you're able to grasp so much more information before you start responding.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the communication process is, as in relationships or romantic relationships, it is also building trust with your partner. What does
Mm-hmm.
trust in your relationship look like? Talk about, what does respect look like? What does healthy boundaries look like? I like to tell my clients, have a trust chat.
Yes.
right? You want to determine the trustworthiness of your partner, and you talk about what that looks like. It also entails discussing your personal expectations.
Mm.
What
Talk
expect
about that.
what expectations do you have around the time you're going to spend with each other? How you're going to
Mm.
communicate? How often are you going to communicate? Part of those personal expectations is also sex. Like, we
Hmm.
don't talk about that.
Hmm. Right.
But it's part of life. It's part
It's
of being
part of
in a
life.
relationship. You have to talk about
You
all
have to talk
those
about
things.
it. And regardless of where you are in the relationship, regardless of what you believe, it's
Right.
important to talk about it. Now set boundaries about how
Correct.
far you want to go based on
Correct.
your beliefs and your relationships and whether or
Absolutely.
not you're choosing to practice it actively or be celibate.
Correct.
Um, but you got to talk about it to
But
know.
there needs to be a
Otherwise, like you
discussion.
said, that expectation,
There you
somebody's
go.
expecting, and then you plan on not following through,
Absolutely.
or vice versa. Uh-oh, we're like you said, are we in the same book, let alone page or
Are we
chapter?
in the
Are
same
we in
book?
the same book? Right. And
Right.
it's so important to if we're gonna live and lead adult lives, then we got to put on our big, you know what I'm saying,
Yes.
women and big man undies, and we gotta
Absolutely.
we gotta literally sit down and have the hard discussions and get uncomfortable. I shared with somebody the other day, and I might have said it on one of these other talks, but I had a moment. I guess it was about a month ago. I was coaching with a client, Avarel, and we were talking about the comfort zone. And in the middle of our thoughts, I said, "You know what? We just need to cut that out because the comfort zone actually isn't all that comfortable."
No.
It's
No.
really not. It's like it's a total irony. It's not comfortable. It's the very area, it's the very posture positioning that like it feels good for the moment, but we're wondering what's outside of it.
Right.
Or we're wishing we had done out something outside of it, or we know we should have been somewhere
Yeah.
somewhere else, but we're staying in the comfort zone. What's comfortable about that?
I know. And you know what? Sometimes you have to be uncomfortable to be comfortable.
To be comfortable. Ooh.
And like you said, having the tough conversations. What I find is people sometimes really shy away from having those tough convos because
Yes.
they're afraid of, I don't know, chasing this person away. They're afraid of their reactions, of
Yes.
confrontation or conflict.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's why it's so important to know how to communicate effectively.
Yeah.
Watch your body language, your tone of voice, your attitude.
Mhm.
John C. Maxwell said it best. People hear your words, but they feel your attitude. And
Yes.
so that's why we have to be so mindful of how we are communicating. And then the
Mhm.
last part of communication is learning how to resolve conflict constructively.
Talk about it.
Sometimes we have to calm down. It's not always, I want to talk about this now. I want to resolve this now. Sometimes we need to calm down. Sometimes our other half may need to calm down. And you don't just storm out of a room. You have a brief conversation that I may need a few minutes, I may need
Mhm.
a few hours, but we
Mhm.
are going to take this conversation back up again when we have calmed down because what is it? Cooler heads prevail. It is absolutely true. Another part of resolving conflict constructively is not kitchen sinking, Tuana. Women are really good at kitchen sinking, throwing everything in the mix, bringing up something that happened a year ago, 2 years ago, that did not get resolved, that did not get addressed then, instead of sticking to the current issue. Women are really good at that.
Yeah.
And you know what? The most important part of resolving conflict constructively, saying these three words, I am sorry. Those three words do not get said enough.
Mhm.
I am sorry is really an important and integral part of when you're resolving conflict constructively.
Yeah.
And one thing I like to emphasize when you're apologizing, you do not say, I am sorry, but leave out the but.
Leave out the butt.
It does not sound sincere. It does not sound like you're coming from a place of a genuine apology. You
Mhm.
you start your apology with I am sorry for XYZ, and you make
Mhm.
a conscious decision to not repeat whatever it was that you did or didn't do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. This is so good. I'm gonna put this back up just in case you're watching. You need to get a screenshot so you can go back and replay, take some notes, journal, whatever it is that you need to do. But these four keys: mindset, clarity, connection, and communication are essential to a successful life.
It
They,
really,
I
really
mean,
are. To your
they
life in general.
to
Yeah.
your life in general, like they literally are transferable. And I fully understand if you're watching this guy. Well, I thought you guys said career. Listen, don't be so small-minded. Follow us, stay with us. We're right here.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
leading with relationship. That's something that we each can relate to. Our
Right.
careers, our careers, career paths, interests, or whatever may be different. Even if whether or not you consider yourself having a career. Um, However, how you move with these four keys, whether it's personally or professionally, is so
Absolutely.
transferable.
Yeah.
These skills, these tactics, these methods, whatever you want to call it, are
Yeah.
absolutely transferable and will help you lead a successful life. And what is a successful life? Well, that's up to you.
Yes.
We're not here to define that for you, right?
Right.
It's your impact. The life that you lead with impact is so much more important than the image. Because if you're just going to be a shell, you
Yeah.
will collapse, you will crack, you will crumble, and then people will then see, well, who you really are and what you never really stood for, right?
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you sharing this. Avarel, tell us what else we how else really can we find you? What do you have going on right now that we can tap into through your relationship coaching, seeking synergy?
Yeah, right now, Tawana, I'm working on getting ready to launch my an online course. It's dating conscious and like a Duchess. It's gonna be my baby. I am
Ooh.
looking forward to it because the reason and the logic behind how I came up with that name is, well, we all want to find our Prince Charming, don't we?
Mm.
So you've got to start dating conscious and like a duchess. You
Look
can't
at
be dating like a
that.
commoner. You can't be dating like a commoner.
Right.
You just
Right.
life is short, time is precious.
It is.
Time is your biggest commodity. You can never get it back. And so you have to be intentionally dating with a purpose. Have a purpose for dating, not to feed someone's ego, not to waste your time, not to waste their time.
Mhm.
You have to be intentional
You
about
have
it.
to be intentional.
You
But
really
in being intentional, though, is there grace to not be rushed at the same time? Right? Like
it is.
you're taking your time is contingent on you
Yes.
and what it is that you're seeking, right?
Yes.
See, in seeking synergy,
Yes.
right? No shameless plug. That is Avarel's coaching business, seeking synergy. When you're seeking synergy with another person, with another job, with a child, with a
Yeah,
parent, with a friend, with whoever it is that you're trying to initiate or renew a relationship with, it's really important for you to cultivate it, like
absolutely.
nurture it. Like, don't force feed it, don't kick it around, don't just toss water on it like it's a rock
Right.
out in the street. Like, take time to nurture it,
Yeah.
build the trust,
Yes.
build the understanding, make sure you're speaking the same language,
Yes.
identify the expectations so you can anticipate the needs and then be seen as valuable and all
Right.
the other things that
And
come
be
along
able
with
to communicate them, be able to
that.
communicate them. I like to tell women that, men find women who are able to articulate their wants and needs so freaking attractive. Like,
Mhm.
women, don't ever forget that. Keep that at the
Right.
back of your mind, the forefront of your mind. Just
Yeah.
always remember it. Men
Yeah.
find women really attractive when you're able to articulate your wants and needs.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
really do, and we're talking about having good men, right? Because
Mhm.
they're out there.
Mhm.
They may be
They're out there,
maybe few and far between, but they
but they
exist.
are out there.
They totally exist. You know,
Yes.
um, good men
I like
do.
how we both paused and smiled. Inside. That's the
Yeah,
inside.
right, right. We
But
know
we're like, they're out there.
they're out there,
And we're not being sarcastic. You see my sarcasm, welcome. We're not being sarcastic. Like we're smiling like this because we know, like
right? And I'll just put
we
it out there. I've got one, so I know.
okay, boom, bam. Like We know they're out there.
Yeah. Oh, we know they're rare. We're
We're
not
good.
going to sweep that under the rug. We know they're
No,
rare, but women, there are good men out there. And that's
there
why it's
are good
important to know
men.
who and what you want. And don't settle. Don't
Yes,
settle.
yes.
Recognize your true worth. You absolutely deserve the best.
The
You know?
best.
And it's honestly you know, being reasonable, right? Not
Uh-huh.
unreasonable about what you want and just, well, he's got to have 20 things or no.
You know what? I say for every 20 things you want him to have, make sure you got at least 19 of them.
I'm so glad you said that
Because
because this leads me to this
you,
one statement. Be a reflection of what you want and how you want to feel.
you see, we want whole people, but we want to bring them trash bags with holes in it. That's
There
not
you go.
fair.
Be a
That's not fair at
reflection.
all. Be a reflection of what you want and who you want,
Correct.
and it's okay to say that you have a need.
Yes.
It's
It's
totally
absolutely
okay.
okay. It's
No,
absolutely
nobody
okay.
wants to try and mind read. Like that's too much work. Don't be
Right.
so
Right.
don't be so unnecessarily expensive. Like I'm not saying don't be quality, but you take too much. You're draining. You're draining. Like don't be draining. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Be a well,
Yes.
right? Where people you can be filled and people
Correct.
can be filled through you.
Yeah.
But don't just be a drain.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Like you asked about, where people can find me.
Yes.
On Facebook, it's Seeking Synergy Relationship Coaching. I also have a Facebook group for single women who want to break their toxic dating cycles. It is called Breaking Toxic Dating for Single Women. And on Instagram, it's seeking_synergy for life. Follow me for I offer free tips, free dating tips, free relationship advice,
Mhm.
communication tips, how to have a healthy relationship, how to recognize when you're in a toxic relationship.
Yes.
I have a free guide. It is the 4 steps to take your relationship from toxicity to authenticity.
Yes.
And the link is in my bio in my IG profile. You can find it there. It's a powerful guide. Take
Mhm.
some time and read it. You'll have some aha moments.
You'll have some aha moments, that's for sure. I know in our 2 years, I believe now. Gosh, you believe it's been 2 years already?
I know.
In our 2 years of knowing one another, I have had some absolute enriching aha moments, some affirming moments, some moments where I was like, Avril, I don't know, should I? Is okay? Like this is like, am I ready? Like
Well,
right? Like I
every
have
time I talk to you, I have aha
oh, we
moments because
have yeah,
you're
we do. We have them for each other, right?
yeah, because you're like this wealth of information. You're so resourceful, and I absolutely look forward to talking to you, whether it's on a personal level, professional level, or on the phone communicating. It's always a pleasure.
It's a
Always a pleasure.
pleasure. I'm so glad that you joined. You guys, make sure to check out Seeking Synergy Relationship Coaching. I'm going to put it back down there so you can check it out. Facebook, Instagram. If you're a LinkedIn user, you can get her on there too. I made sure to tag her in this live so you can connect with Avarel and get yourself together.
Yes, and I didn't mention, ladies, I offer a 15-minute discovery session to see if we're a good fit to work with each other. I
Mhm.
offer a relationship makeover session. It's a 60-minute deep dive where we talk about your challenges and help you break
Mhm.
through. I give you an analysis, feedback, science-based relationship coaching action steps,
Yes.
and
Action
love
steps.
homework. And love
Love
homework.
homework. I
Yep.
love that. I love that because as a project manager, ideas are just ideas when they
Right.
don't have decisions and actions tied
Exactly.
to them. So make sure you check out Seeking Synergy Relationship Coaching with relationship coach, certified relationship coach, Avarel Smith. Listen, you may have seen on my social media, and if you haven't, welcome, welcome, welcome. Bootstrap Dreams is launching the 5-day Work Less, More Results Challenge for entrepreneurs. It is dropping October 24th through 28th. So you want to get on the wait list, go to bootstrapdreams.com and sign up. You're not going to want to miss this. This challenge is about you stopping the madness of doing it all yourself, getting the people, the skills, and the capacity you need to get back time to really live. I don't know about you, but I didn't go into entrepreneurship to be trapped in it, to be
Right.
overworked in it, to be underpaid through it. I went into it to have my freedom, to have my autonomy, and to
Yeah.
be serving others while making a fruitful, impactful, and enjoyable living. So join me on that 5-day challenge. It's going to be great.
Well,
I'm just telling
very
you,
well. I hope I
you'll
can
be
fit
glad
it
you
into my
did.
schedule. I hope I can fit it into my schedule.
I hope so too. There'll be replays during that week, but that week only. So make sure you get in on the live every day. Watch the replay if you can't join us live. But October 24th to 28th, bootstrapdreams.com is where you can go to sign up. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next entrepreneurship experience, Impact Over Image with Bootstrap Dreams. Bye for now, community.
Bye.